is having, sound system is having problems. So what we would need to ask that you do is, if you're commenting or testifying, please speak loudly and clearly so we can pick it up on this microphone and run it through the overall system and record on YouTube for us. Jermaine? Yeah. So I'm having trouble logging into Zooms for waiting for it. Connecting to the Zoom.
Using the computer.
Doesn't say.
Not that I'm making a plug, but Teams, MS Teams seems to be a lot more reliable, a better platform. Even though everyone uses Zoom, it's got popular in the last year and a half. A lot of organizations are using Teams.
It's been nice for
It's more reliable.
Teams, I mean, I had Teams for a while because there were several other clients who used it, but they kept wanting me to pay for it, even though I wanted to pay to use it.
Right. Yeah, that's a problem. Microsoft's better at getting the money.
Oh, it's correct. Yeah. I don't even use most of Microsoft 365 so.
Put your information to tracking.
The Zoom subscription, it's about $6-7 a year, so it's not too much. And that is your essentially unlimited usage.
Well, the only time with scholarship foundation, that's once a year. And I rarely miss this in person, so I don't even use it here.
So you don't have to get the full one thing for how to schedule it and stuff like that.
Oh, no, I don't schedule anything, I'm just a user. And when I take some of those training sessions that they have with the learning mission, so forth, I'll just go in on that, I'll register. and I'll just use it there. I tell people, I'm tired of all that stuff.
That was a problem, so we'll give it a check with,
Never return my calls for the deity. But then I the phone was bad. So I had to get it as soon as I got it. I started texting my community, calling back in the host before they respond.
You want me to stop?
No, this was when I got it. It's been almost 4 years now. 3 or 4 years. I remember that. Just restricted. She was in the back of the office. That's the only reason she got it.
How would you use Facebook?
She doesn't. She doesn't give her phone numbers. So she can see
Cool. Okay, sound. All right. Cool.
Shelley, can you hear us?
she's muted.
Did you already start that recording?
No, that's what I'm saying, is you should probably start it, but you're gonna wanna plug it in.
Yeah, I just can't deal with that because I have to.
Shelley, if you can hear us, please unmute and let us know you can hear us.
Shelley, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
You can only hear me, not Steve?
I mean, I can hear Steve, but he's just muffled.
Okay.
Okay.
How about now?
Yes, can you sing a song?
Maybe use the other mic as well, might help. I don't know.
So can you hear me also?
We have a quorum.
Yeah, it's just muffled.
All right, well, we have a quorum. So the first thing tonight is a public meeting. For the record, we have attending Shelley McIntyre by Zoom, and then in person, Christina Davis to my left, Ron Thomas to my right, and Jim Stone here in the center. When we do a public review meeting, for those in the audience that may not attended one before, this first, the staff gives a presentation on the proposed matter. In this case, it's a rezoning. And then we give people who attend or are interested an opportunity. And then we'll hear from the applicant. And then after that, we'll open up the meeting to testimony from people who read it for or against it. If necessary, there can be rebuttal by the applicant. And then we typically close the meeting and go on to our regular meeting. So this is to consider a local conversion district overlay at 245 North Potomac Street. Steve, can you present it?
Megan will be.
Okay, Megan.
I'm presenting from back here so that they can hear me from the webcam,
Okay.
just for the record. Okay, so this is the public review meeting for a local conversion district overlay at 245 North Potomac Street. It's been filed by OSIC Family Trust. And 245 North Potomac Street is on the corner of Potomac and Bethel. It's an existing mixed-use building with 7 dwelling units, 1 office space, and 1 vacant commercial space. The site is 4,388 square feet, and the existing zoning is residential office. It's also in the Potomac Broadway Historic District.
Megan, before you go on, are you able to track when smart units may sign on?
Yeah, it should pop up. And I can
Okay.
So here are some photos of the existing building. The left photo is the Potomac Street facade and the right photo shows the Bethel Street facade. And as for the applicant's proposal, he intends to continue the use of the 7 dwelling units and the current office space. Wants to expand the permitted uses for the front-facing commercial space to include bank or credit union, business service centers, or quick printing services, bed and breakfast inns, catering kitchen, and retail wholesale trade excluding auto. The applicant's required to restore the commercial storefront with double doors, and the Planning Commission and Historic District Commission both discussed possible landscaping in the front just to break up the concrete pad. And then the Planning Commission also discussed combining the lot that the building is on with the adjacent lot where the parking is on, just to retain the parking for the building into the future. And then as for staff analysis, again, it's continued use of existing mixed-use building. It was occupied by various commercial uses over time, and the proposed use is compatible with the surrounding area. It has water and wastewater service, and there's no identified traffic capacity issues. Again, the adjacent parking lot is to be combined with the building lot. Comp plan encourages adaptive reuse, and we do have a positive recommendation from the Historic District Commission, who reviewed this application last week. Also, signage and building modifications are subject to review by the HDC as well, and they don't see any issues there. So I'd like to enter into the record Planning Commission file by reference, which is ZM 2021-02, and the legal advertisement. We usually keep the public record open for 10 days to accept any public input. And then from here, the Planning Commission will make a recommendation to Mayor and Council, and then the Mayor and Council will hold their own public hearing before they introduce the rezoning ordinance. That's all I've got.
I guess we want to enter into the record what we got from the Historic District Commission.
You're okay with that? I won't be reading it for the record.
You don't have to read it. Anybody want to read it? Okay. Okay, so that's part of the record as well. Now, at this point, we would like to hear from the applicant.
Well, first, thank you very
Come on
much.
up, come on up to the.
And you tell us
See
your,
right here. Let's see.
tell us your name and address.
My name is John Osick. We own the property at 245 North Potomac. And first, I'd like to thank Mr. Bachmiller and Ms. Witt for helping us out with this rezone overlay. The units have been vacant for about a year before we own the property, about a year since we've owned the property. So we can find a tenant in the given zoning. And it's been default. It's a very high traffic area. It's very well suited to something that's high traffic and something that's retail oriented and not so much oriented towards residential office. And so we've been very happy that the recommendations from the planning board and the historic district have kind of aligned with what we want to do. It's to get it rented and get it rented to something that's the highest and best use. And we think that this, again, we're just very appreciative that everybody's been on board with this. And that hopefully we get a tenant in there very quickly to not have a vacant unit on a highly visible, highly trafficked area.
Okay. Do any members of the Planning Commission have any questions?
The only thing I've noticed is that since it's going to be a case of preparing food for catering and so forth, will you be requiring any loading areas in front of the building? Like so many loading zones, load your product on?
No, in fact, we're on the owner's part, we're restricting access for what you're calling catering and high-end restaurant use. We're just looking at retail, basically, to allow retail uses and foot traffic and normal traffic to use the facility normally. So we're not going to permit any sort of kitchen use. We're not going to permit liquor store. We're not going to permit a lot of things that I think that would be your concerns. we're mostly just trying to allow normal retail trade.
Shelley, do you have any questions?
I'm sorry, say
Shelley,
that
do you have
again,
any
Jim.
questions?
No, I don't. I'm good. Thank you.
Just if you have any questions.
No questions.
All right, at this time, we'll hear from any members of the public who wish to speak. Is there anybody here who would like to speak in favor of this proposed change? Is there anyone who would like to speak against this change? Is there anybody who would like to speak concerning this change at all? Okay, hearing none.
Oh, Jim, I also want to just enter into the record the application as well,
Fair enough. Good.
just in case I missed anything.
Okay, well, I guess this concludes public testimony portion of the hearing. Is there anything else that you want to add, Megan?
I don't think so, no. Steve?
Does anybody want to make a motion to speak the record?
Yeah.
We have to make a
We have to do it.
motion.
I'm making a motion that we leave the record open for the next 10 days.
Second? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. So the record will be open for 10 days, during which people can submit additional written material. And after that, at the next meeting, next planning commission meeting following that, we will consider the application again and make a recommendation to the mayor and council whether we think it should be approved or not approved. And then from that point, it goes to the mayor and council, and they in turn will also conduct the hearing like this. And in the end, it will be their decision what to do. Thank you very much for coming in. And this concludes the public meeting portion of the meeting. So, the regular meeting, I'll repeat the roll call. With us tonight is Sheldon McIntyre, Tina Davis, Ron Thomas, and myself, Jim Stone. Our first item on the agenda is the review of the minutes from March 9th.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes from March 9th.
I'll second.
Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our first development review is a site plan for Park Michael addition at South Portland Village.
Before I get started, Megan, I just want you, can you check, just make sure Tammy's not trying to get in?
Yeah, it would pop up if she
If
was.
there would be a pop-up.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, this is PCBS 2022-01. It's the RE Michael Company at 915 South Bergen Boulevard. The site plan is for the construction of a 10,000 square foot warehouse addition to the above facility. The addition will be located in the rear of the building. Parking would be expanded to 28 parking spaces, so the site will comply with current parking requirements. 27 spaces are required inside of the expanded facility. The disturbed area will be 0.62 acres due to this being located in the existing subdivision, and the disturbed area being less than 40,000 square feet. Forest conservation ordinance does not apply. As an off-site plan for existing development, staff look for ways to bring the site closer in current design standards as is practicable. Therefore, significant additional landscaping is proposed, and a pedestrian walkway is proposed along the north side of the driveway, leading to a crosswalk, which will then carry pedestrians across the driveway to continue their walk to the building on the south side. Topographic issues prevented the walkway from being installed entirely on the south side of the driveway. No plan review committee meeting was held due to state of emergency. The following agencies provide their approval: planning, water, wastewater, fire marshal, electric, and city engineer. Therefore, staff recommends approval, and project engineer was Dr. Collins here again. I did something a little untraditional with my favorite report, like a couple of photographs here, but street view, understand.
So I see what you mean about the sidewalk, not being able to. Can't really do anything at all. Slope is there. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah, as substantial as it is, there's a fair amount of good and mature existing land, vegetation around the edges of the property. There's a floodplain on the north side, for what's on the screen for the north, or the upper side of your plan frame there. There's actually a wetland area there with wetland buffer, so that area is heavily vegetated. There's a vegetation edge along the back property line, and really it's kind of a pretty good screen along the front side where the driveway goes, of course. So it's already started off with a fair amount of good existing vegetation.
Yeah, coming from one direction, the building is blocked because you have to turn all the way around and see it. Coming from the other direction, you can't see it because it's on the other side.
Even to the point where the first visit I did, I drove past it. I knew what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Could you identify yourself? please?
I am Royce Copenhagen Engineering, representing the client.
Thank
They did a good job of adding parking, landscaping along the front of the building, along the edge of the parking lot as well, retrofitting and adding some street trees as well.
Tamara just joined for roll call purposes.
Tamara, can you hear us?
Tamara, can you hear us?
Yes, hello, sorry. Oh,
No worries.
Okay. Look, everyone watching, join me. We are considering a site plan proposal and forest conservation plan. No, I'm sorry, we're considering a site plan proposal for a building addition in RE Michael on the south, where it's full. Does there comments, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan.
I'll say.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the site plan, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And who second?
One. Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Doesn't move in there.
Oh, I'm here.
Doesn't move to city council. Yeah, basically, you get the signatures on the site plan and you go for your building permit.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, next on our agenda is a site plan and forest conservation plan for Eames Warehouse located on Queen Avenue.
Okay, this is site plan ZS 2021-12. It's a site plan for the Higgins Warehouse located at 1090 Avenue. Also, Forest Conservation Plan 2021-03. And consolidation / easement plat for this project subdivision plat file 2021-03. The site plan is for the construction of a 4,000 square foot warehouse building on a 1.12 acre property. 6 parking spaces are provided. The property is split zone INU industrial mixed use and R-Mod residential moderate density to the south, to the southern end of the site, south of the driveway entrance to the site. All of the development will be in the INU zone portion of the property. Forest conservation mitigation will be met through the creation of a 105 foot by 75 foot easement area on the existing woods in the southern portion of the property, which is zoned R-Mod and cannot be used it will serve as a buffer to adjacent residential to the south. The plat consolidates a number of lots of record and creates forest conservation easement and easement language for this project. The SD sketch plan has been previously reviewed and approved by the planning commission. No PRC meeting was held on this project due to the state of emergency. The following agencies have provided their approvals: planning, city engineer, Tony Edison, and fire marshal. Water and wastewater have provided additional approval subject to addressing some handful of minor revisions. So staff recommends approval of the site plan and the forest conservation plan subject to the additional approvals of the water and wastewater departments, and also approval of the subdivision plan and forest conservation.
So we're gonna consider this first and then consider the plat.
Yes. And Clint Rock is here from the engineer of record of the project.
All right, does anybody have any questions or comments?
Now, is it, I'm thinking the hash mark blocks there, are these going to be added on to the existing block? That's on the right hand side of the east. Is this going to be added on to the, what's going to remain separate from the block?
This is a zoning district line that runs through the property. The property is split zone. This is all IMU. This is R1.
I guess what I'm saying is,
Municipal boundary.
is that going to be added into that to make it all one?
Yes, all of this is going to be consolidated. All three is go, these dots.
Right.
Those are individual lot lines from a flat 100 years ago.
Okay.
And those are all going to be eliminated, and this is all going to become one property.
Okay.
Don't we
That was
try
my
to
question.
avoid combinations that result in particular parcel of land, how it splits land?
In most cases, but in this particular case, this area that's in residential is going to be locked up in forest conservation easement. It's not going to be developed.
Okay, so I guess we have the forest conservation plan first. Does anyone want to make a motion on that?
Has that, Mark, has that been recorded yet?
No, that's the purpose.
That's the purpose, okay.
We'll hear the plot, some of the plot
Next.
change after we
Okay.
do this.
I guess, word the motion,
I'll move to approve the forest conservation plan.
and I'll second.
Is there any further discussion on the forest conservation plan? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. And then now we have the site plan. Does anyone want to make a motion on the site?
I'll make that motion,
I'll second that.
subject to conditions of water and wastewater.
Oh, have we received the water and fire marshals approval yet?
Fire marshal has approved it, and water and wastewater giving conditional approval.
Okay, so we still have to, for them to give a full approval on the wastewater.
As a matter of routine, we could approve it subject to them complying with the condition of water and sewer.
Okay, so the motion is, first and second.
I'll say.
Any further discussion on the site plan? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Now,
Cameron, you voted aye, I assume?
I did.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, so our next item immediately following is the subdivision plat, that goes with the same project. Steve, you have anything to?
I can make a motion.
You got anything? You got anything to say on
No, I rolled it in the previous staff report. There's no additional.
it? Okay, this is all gonna be combined, and the idea that split zoning will matter because the area that's in online, it's, in the title.
Right.
Does anybody want to make a motion on the subdivision plan?
So moved.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 I think I heard.
I heard everybody that time.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay.
All right. So, our next item then is, sketch plan for Western Heights Middle Library.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the ESD sketch plan and landscaping requirements discussion for Western Heights Middle School. Board of Education proposes to install a new driveway between the two existing school buildings, approximately where a linear running track is currently located, to improve vehicular circulation during bus drop-off and pickup times. Main driveway near Arlington Avenue would be modified as well, and new sidewalk installed along the driveway. The existing parking lot to the north of the building will be reconfigured from a perpendicular orientation to angled spaces. A small addition will be added to the existing parking lot to the north of the new driveway entrance. See the city engineer's comments regarding stormwater management. Limited to just 3 points. The applicant desires not to disrupt the existing configuration of the existing parking lot by retrofitting landscape islands, and desires not to add a single landscape island to the small addition they are making to the parking lot north of the new driveway. Also, they request approval not to retrofit parking lot shrubs for either lot. They propose to retrofit additional trees in the vicinity of both lots to bring the number of parking lot trees up to ordinance requirements. Staff have no objection to the proposal, provided that a few additional trees are installed in both locations above and beyond ordinance requirements to offset the loss of the shrubs and not retrofitting landscape islands into the lots. The lot to the north of the building is significantly shielded from Marshall Street by distance and topography, thereby minimizing any real impact of shrubs as a buffer or screening material at that location. The lot north of the new entrance is adjacent across the street from the pending open space lot for Kilpatrick Woods. Given these circumstances, staff has no objection to additional, if additional trees are provided. See the attached drawings. One is a markup of an air photo showing the improvements. The second is the site plan approved a couple of years ago for the building to the north, but was never actually implemented. And I'm going to walk over to the screen and point a couple of things out, because this a written narrative, this does get a little on the confusing side. We're dealing with 2 parking areas, this area here and this area here. They're going to put this new driveway in here. They're going to make a small addition to this parking area here, to this school building. And then this parking lot here, which is currently striped for perpendicular spaces, they're going to stripe for maintenance spaces. So you're gonna have this new driveway coming back in here, so parents when they drop their kids off, be able to come in, loop through, drop the kid off, and get straight back out. This will still be a bus loop. There's gonna also be some minor reconfiguration down in this area as well. There's also gonna be a new sidewalk that's gonna be installed along this side of the driveway for pedestrian access into this building from the street. Regarding the waiver request, the ordinance would require having shrubs along this property line here and along the parking lot here. And they're asking for not to do this landscape, it would have to be typically be a landscape island here at the end of this parking bay. And also, we would look to get the existing parking lot, which is just a big rectangle retrofitted with landscape islands as well. They're asking to do away with those. And in return, they would plant a few more trees in each location above and beyond what the ordinance would require. So our thought is figure out how many trees there are there, give them credit for whatever trees are in that immediate vicinity. Plant more trees to bring it up to what the ordinance would require for parking lot trees for both parking lots. And then on top of that, offset for the shrubs, plant a couple more trees in each place, and it should pretty much do the job. Topography wise, this slopes downward, it's a gradual slope that's about, let's say about 300 feet or so off of Marshall Street, 200 to 300 feet. So by the time you have a distance and slope, putting a row of shrubs along here really does nothing. So our thought is that here, this thing's an open space lot for Patrick Woods. It's already wooded and it's not going to be disturbed. So their headlights are not going to be shining in there. So staff has no objection to requested waivers, provided they just bring the parking lot tree requirement up to current standards and have a couple of additional locations. And further consider representing the applicant.
What they're doing, it looks like on the slope down there. Can you back up? On the bottom there, where the little rainbow slope, right in there, they're widening that. Is that
We're actually going to flatten the curve. Right now, you can see this pavement. This pavement's coming out and we're gonna make it smoother.
okay?
And right now, cars and buses can be there and kids park over here in the private sector in somebody else's private property and the school's getting some complaints from that.
Okay.
So if they want to do all parents bringing their children in and dropping them off right here, so that they're not co-mingling with the buses.
Right.
And right now the sidewalks on this side, so they got to cross over in front of the traffic. They're gonna remove that sidewalk and put the sidewalk on this side so that there's no crossover, eliminating, a dangerous situation. So it's, we're gonna smooth this out, remove the sidewalk, put it over here. Right now, this parking lot was connected through here, so you had cars, people dropping their children off, buses, and a lot of the teachers that they were parking here. Of course, this is their parking lot, right? So, and this is a parking lot. So what they're going to do is just have a circular access to drop the kids off. But we want to keep this parking lot because we're going with angular parking versus perpendicular. We lose spaces. Okay, we put interior islands, we lose more space.
Right.
So we asked Steve, and Steve was very gracious. Of course, we're asking you for the same thing, to be able to not go with interior islands because we're already, losing spaces. But we'll do more planting around the outside. The calculation was 12 trees needed, and we're gonna go with 16. So we're adding 33% more trees to make up the difference. And as Steve said, it's really 400 feet to here, 600 feet to here. But shrubbery, we really do nothing.
But then you indicated that block there that you had your hand on, that was the teacher's lot?
Yep, that was parking for teachers too. Okay. And they came through here. So they're going to get rid of this connection. They're going to raise it up so that it can be emergency vehicle only.
Okay.
So teachers can't go through this way. This is for fire emergency. So it's going to be a raised curb, a minimal curb on both sides. But right now it's asphalt. It's going to be concrete. So it looks like it's more of a plaza connection. But the flow for traffic here should be like this for drop off and for parking.
So how many spaces are you gonna lose now by making that driveway in there for drop off? For parking for the teachers, because if that's the case, they're not gonna be able to park on that side where you're doing the drop off.
Say that again.
Okay, you have to come in now, is there park right where your finger is, drop down. No, drop that, yeah, and now that area there, Does that have parking on it now?
No, there's nothing along this side. That's gonna be.
That's the way your finger just parked, are there parking
Oh, yes,
spaces?
there's parking in there too.
Okay, so what I'm saying is if you make that a drop off, then you're gonna lose those spaces on that side, is that correct?
Well, I can see. parking.
No, they're not there.
In
In the parking lot.
Parking there and parking there. There'll still be parking that will be able to come through and still park perpendicular here. We're not touching
Okay,
that.
you're not touching that.
We're not touching this. We're not touching that. We're restriping this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and this is Matt Berger with Washington County Publishers.
The majority of staff, the majority of staff actually parking in this lot here
Okay.
and we're using 8 spaces.
So staff will still come in with the bus comes in.
That's correct.
They'll come in, but they won't intermingle up here. They'll be able to get all right there. So they'll, staff will still come in.
But there won't be a conflict with the children.
Right.
Right. The current student drop off route is they actually route through this parking lot. So they back up and inhibit staff from parking in that lot. And then staff ends up parking. Yeah.
So Steve mentioned that he thinks that in consideration that you should add a few more trees.
And we added 33% more. 12 remediated units, we added 416.
Is that
enough?
satisfactory?
As long as they were a few more than what the ordinance required, I was fine.
Yeah, and this campus is well landscaped. There's trees all the way along here, there's trees down here, there's trees you can see in around here. It has a lot of trees. We're only taking out one tree. There's like 4 big oaks right here. We're gonna remove one because it's where this new road is gonna go. And that's why we thought we would double line this. We'll have a couple here and add it here, so it's double line. We had talked about adding them here, but the soccer field's here, and we have to move it a little bit anyhow, but these trees would be right on the slope. So we decided to just put them over here. This walking track is coming out completely, so it'll look, like double line when you get back in there. And then, of course, we're adding these trees. On the 2018 approved site plan, these trees were here, so we kept them, did not do the shrubs, added 2 more trees there, but the majority of trees that we're adding are really back here.
Just as a note, where the buses come in there now, they go up and go swing around. And that curve is not too tight for them to make that turn.
I guess not, it's been like that for ages.
But some of those new buses look like they got a pretty long.
They are able to make that turn good. You're right, it is, they do just barely.
Yeah, I'm just looking from a standpoint, looking here, some of the new buses, they're pretty long, but I also noticed that they kept the wheelbase the same. So that leaves the tail end hanging over, I guess.
Guys, what is the typical teacher parking demand on those lots?
I actually counted up the last 2 days to see how many vehicles we had parked. We had 92 spaces taken at Western Heights. We have 169 spaces right now. And of course, we use 8, we have 161 spots.
So you have a lot, you get a lot of spaces not being used. That's right. The reason why I ask is that it's a peculiarity of our zoning ordinance that parking requirements for school are ample to meet the demands of teachers, students, and visitors, which is a wholly subjective determination by the board. So if you're losing some spaces, I just want to make clear on that. So when you get the site plan in, include that material in the calculations on the site plan. That way, when they approve the site plan, they can make that determination if the parking is sufficient at this location.
Any other questions?
So when we get this in the site plan form, we'll also be waivers to requested waivers to landscape.
Yes.
Steve, does this one have at all? This image is not supposed to be.
That, yeah, just for the record, the plan that Megan's got on the screen right now, That's the site plan that was approved 3 or so years ago by this body to make some circulation changes there, but they were never implemented.
Okay. So that is not consideration.
No, it's just, it's given to you for information purposes.
So what we have, of course, anyway, is a sketch plan.
Sketch plan and just general feedback to them on whether or not you'd be planning to approve the waivers when the site plan comes forward.
Okay, so how does the commission feel about that?
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the sketch plan.
Wait a minute, before we do that, are you comfortable with the waivers?
Yes, yes, I'm sorry.
Shelley, Tamara, are you okay with those?
Yes, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the sketch plan as presented.
Second.
With the waivers. So,
Well, we're not approving the waivers now. The sketch plan is just basically an overall.
so that will go on site.
Second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the sketch plan, please say aye.
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 Opposed? None. Okay, approved. Thank you. And this is what planning commission visits tonight. Seeing nothing here, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. We don't have to- we don't have to, motion to adjourn. All right.
Yeah, well, that's.
I'm sorry, who seconded the motion?
Adjourn.
Ron?
Thank you.